This month's newsletter is about team effectiveness. And I thought I'd just share with you some ideas that we're going to be talking about both this month and next month in terms of what teams can really do for you. And the basic idea here is that team effectiveness is just too important to ignore. And so what we want to be looking at is some examples of leaders that have utilized this concept to their benefit. And so the first leader who I really admire is Alan Mulally, who very famously came over from Boeing to engineer a turnaround at Ford. And one of the core things that he talks about, and I've got here a picture of a document that he prepared, and it's really all about skilled and motivated team. And he took the culture and shifted it from this kind of Game of Thrones velociraptor style of competition into one where people really were working together and could collectively solve problems. And that was a key element of his ability to turn the company around. So in the newsletter, I'll be sharing some ideas about how they did that. And then we have my dear friend, Linda Hill, who was the co-author of a book called Collective Genius. And she uses this phrase that I think is just wonderful. She says, part of your goal as a leader is to go from sharing individual slices of genius to creating collective genius. And she argues that there are three key elements to this. The first is what she calls creative abrasion, which is getting people with diverse talents and diverse perspectives together to kind of creatively problem solve. Second element is discovery-driven learning, discovery-driven leadership, which is, those of you who follow my work know that I'm all over that. But really being willing to learn new things and facilitate creative agility. And finally, this sort of synthesis, integrative decision-making that represents a creative resolution of all these tensions. And her basic argument is that when you're trying to reach collectively a new solution, a novel solution to an existing situation, that you can't just use the traditional concept of leadership, which is the leader elicitates a vision and then works backward and gets everybody to buy into it, that what you're doing is shaping a vision, all of you, as you go forward. And one of her examples of this is Ed Catmull, who was the leader at Pixar. And Pixar, as most of you will know, has had an unbelievable track record of success in creating these, endlessly animated, computer-operated movies, and just hit after hit after hit. And how do they do that? It's this whole process of collective genius that makes it so different. And finally, we're going to be talking about a concept that was developed by my colleague, Amy Edmondson. And both Amy and Linda have been part of my fireside chat series, so you can definitely check out our conversations. But what Amy found was the vital importance in creative problem-solving teams or teams in high-risk situations to have psychological safety. And if you think about it, a dangerous situation is one where you're afraid, you're not admitting mistakes, you're blaming others, it makes you less likely to share, it creates this sort of common knowledge effect, which is that the really important information is never brought into the open. Whereas if you look at a psychologically safe environment, what you've got is a comfort, admitting mistakes or raising an alternative point of view. You learn from your failures, everybody openly shares their ideas, and you end up with better innovation and decision-making. So that's what's going to be in this month's newsletter. Check it out. And for more information on me, you can find me at Columbia Business School. That's my email. I'm on Twitter at Rita Mcgrath. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm even on YouTube. This newsletter, like all of my newsletters, are free. And we have the regular Friday chat series coming up, which you can tap into by looking at this section of my website. So enjoy the newsletter, and we'll see you next month.